Welcome to yet another episode of Social Ideologies with Ruku, best known as Socio Ideo with Ruku, a series that aims to prove how no reality truly fits an ideology. I'm Ruku's Rashafe Niti, and this is a Girlz of Voices production. In today's episode, we are going to be discussing the topic sign of weakness. Now, some of you may have already known what we're going to be talking about just by me saying sign of weakness, because society for so long has told us that crying is a sign of a weakness. So this is the main ideology, which is the top of the food chain, and then there are now all these other sub ideologies that actually stand to support the ideology which says that crying is a sign of a weakness. So, because crying is perceived as being weak, we see that when growing up, the girl child is told that you do not cry in public, while the boy child is told that men don't cry because it's a sign of weakness. It's you showing that you're accepting defeat. But crying has its benefits, be it even mental benefits as well as health benefits, which you're going to actually unpack later on within this episode. Another ideology is that it's believed women cry over everything. So you find that if you're a woman and you're crying, your tears tend to not be taken so seriously because let's say that if you're a girl, if you're a woman, you're just going to cry. It's even believed that we cry when we're happy, we cry when we're sad, we cry when we're bored. But it's not the case. Usually we cry because crying is part of our emotions. And one thing that society forgets to teach us about crying when they're teaching us all these things like crying is for women and crying is for the weak, they forget to teach us that crying is an effective way of actually releasing stress. So if you are a bit way too stressed, try crying sometime and see if you won't feel better afterwards. It's actually proven by psychologists that the moment you cry, you tend to release some of that stress which is bothering you. So when we put all this effort to try and cry a bit less, we tend to stress ourselves a bit too much and end up in those uh, mental situations that could have been avoided if we had just cried. We end up depressed, we end up with all these high blood pressure problems simply because we decided we could not cry because society told us that if you cry, you're accepting defeat. If you cry, you're showing that you're weak. If you cry, you're being a woman. So now you also find that men, when they cry, they're told stop being a girl. And this statement has existed for so long in our society, which simply shows how crime is associated so much with women. But if men are also human, then they should also cry. It's not a woman's maybe duty. It's not a woman's thing to cry. So now you find that when a boy or when a man cries, he is told that stop being a woman. What we don't understand is that crime is a natural process. Crying is a human thing to do. So if a man is human, then he might as well cry. And now one benefit that actually comes with crying is that it immediately lowers your blood pressure. So the reason why some of the men out there continuously suffer from high blood pressure, it's simply because they don't want to cry. It's simply because they're stressed, but they don't want to let it out. They don't want to let out all this frustration and sorrow through crying because they don't want to be perceived as being less of a man. Society then teaches us that tough girls don't cry, the real men don't cry, but tears tend to actually remove toxins such as cortisol that build up the moment we are stressed. So all this during emotional stress, all these toxins build up within your body, and the body is an amazing thing because whatever problem that rises, the body has a solution to it. And the solution to all these toxins that are a result of emotional stress is tears. With that being said, you find that if something occurs and I'm truly hurt, I'm expected not to cry in public because it's believed that I am simply accepting defeat and I'm showing that this thing has actually overcome me. But that's not always the case. What we do not understand is that it's okay to cry, it's part of humanity, and completely letting out your emotions through crying helps you deal with the situation better because you would have let go of the pain and let go of the hurt. So now you find that I am told that tough girls don't cry in public. Crying in public is for babies. And society has programmed a lot of us in a way where even now when something really serious occurs, we decide not to cry when people are around because we believe that they're going to think they're weak. Thank you for watching this episode on Sign of Weakness. If you like me or what I was talking about, then do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Girlz of Voices, Girlz with a Z. You could also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The name still stands as Girlz of Voices. Remember, Girlz with a Z. It's up to us to create a society that understands that crying is part of a natural process. It's up to us to create an environment where the boy child knows that even if they do cry, they're still man enough. Where crying is not perceived as maybe a manipulative weapon that's used by women to get what they want, but where we all understand that crying is for everyone, male or female, where we all understand that crying is a way which the body simply gets rid of certain things and helps us get through certain situations. I'm Ruku Niti, and this is a Girlz of Voices production. Join me next time as we continue to unpack various ideologies that exist within our societies but that are usually left unaddressed or that are usually ignored. Until then, goodbye.